Hi, welcome to Roy's Game Table. Today we have Black Widow leadership against Ultron Expert. So pull up a chair and let's see what happens. All right, so everything's been shuffled up and ready to go. I got Ultron 2 out and everything's right there. I've got the environment out. I've got my starting hand of 6. So let's go ahead and look at my mulligan, see if I want to do a mulligan. I think I do. I don't need a Dance of Death this early in the game. I need to build up some first. I'll go ahead and discard this Make the Call. But I think I will keep the other cards I have in my hand. So I'll draw back up to 6. Winter Soldier and the Power of Leadership. Okay, good. All right, I think the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get a rapid response in using the Power of Leadership for 2. And that's going to allow me to draw a card, Falcon. And then I think I'm going to use Falcon to put my Widow's Bite into play over here. And so because I have 2 preparation cards, I can put Winter Soldier into play now because you reduce the cost to play him by 1 for each preparation card. So I'll put him into play using this Genius. And I think that's all I'll be able to do as far as putting cards into play. So I'm going to go ahead and flip to Black Widow and use her to attack for 2 to knock out this drone. And by the way, Winter Soldier comes in with 4 health. And I'll have him go ahead and attack for 2. And on Ultron, dropping him from 22 down to 20. And I think that's it. So I'll ready up and draw back up to 5. Okay, start of the villain phase. We put 1 threat on the main scheme. He's supposed to attack, and that means a drone's supposed to come into play. But I'm going to use Widow's Bite to deal 2 damage to that drone and knock it right back out of the game. And because I triggered the ability of a preparation card as Black Widow, I'll use her ability to drop him from 20 to 19. All right, he's still attacking. So I think I will go ahead and just to play it safe, I'll go ahead and defend with Black Widow. So he's attacking for 2, and it's going to be just 2. So she takes no damage from that attack. Okay, that's good. And then the encounter card I get dealt is going to be Advanced, the Villain Schemes. That is unfortunate. It's coming out so early. And there's nothing I can do about that, but it is what it is. So anyway, he schemes for 2, 3. So this will advance already. And when we get this side 2A, we're supposed to put a drone into play. So I will. He won't scheme or anything. He'll just go over to the S.h.i.e.l.D. and NORAD side, and all of a sudden, we're right where the meat of the game is, which is side 2B of Ultron. So I've got to try to defeat him before I get to side... I like to try to defeat him before I get to his 3rd stage, because in side 3B, you can't take thwart off the scheme. There's only 5 threat that can go on side 3B, and once it fills up, you lose. So we're already at the meat of the game. But anyway, back to Black Widow. Okay, in Black Widow, Mockingbird is actually one of the keys to this game for me, in my opinion, because when she comes in, she stuns Ultron, and it prevents drones from coming into play. So I definitely want to get her in, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and use Lead from the Front, Attack Acrobatics, and I hate to do it with Synth Suit for that, because Target Acquired can prevent some boosts once I get it into the game. So I'll go ahead and use those 3 resources to put her into play. And when she comes in, she stuns a villain. And then she comes in with 3 health. And I'm going to go ahead and have her attack for 1 to get rid of this drone. Oh, and it's Hawkeye. That is not who I want to... Well, I have to bring him out of the... He's the other big part of the game for me for leadership. I want to be able to get him into play. Hopefully I can get to make the call to bring him in. But anyway, and then I'll have Winter Soldier go ahead and attack for 2 on Ultron, dropping him down to 17. And that's it. I'll ready and draw up to 5. Okay, start of the main phase. We're going to put one threat on the main scheme, and when you do that, on the side 2, the forced response is that you either have to put a drone in play or 2 more threat on the main scheme. I'll go ahead and put a drone in play, and then Ultron's supposed to attack, but he can't because he's stunned. And then that minion will attack, so I'll have Black Widow take it, drop her down to 8. And then the encounter card is Concussion Blasters attached to the villain. The villain gains Retaliate 1. And I can get rid of that by exhausting my hero and spending 2 energy resources. All right, already back to Black Widow. All right, I don't think I want to let him keep those Concussion Blasters because that gives him Retaliate 1, and there's a lot of hit points left on him. So as much as I hate to do this, I'm going to go ahead and exhaust Black Widow and then spend the 2 energy resources from energy to be able to get rid of this card so it's out of the way. And the good news is I can still make the call for Hawkeye, which is what I want to do. So I will do that. I'll make the call for Hawkeye, bring him into play using these other 3 resources. And he'll come into play with 3 health and 4 arrows. All right, and so I think I'll use Mockingbird to attack that drone over there for 1 to get it out of play. And then I'll use Hawkeye here to thwart for 1 off of the main scheme just to try to keep that under control. I don't care if it only has 1. I want it as low as possible. And then I'll use Winter Soldier to attack Ultron for 2, dropping him from 17 down to 15. And that's it. I'll ready up and draw up to 5. Okay, start of the main phase. Put 1 threat on the main scheme. A drone is supposed to come out. Or I can put 2 threat here, but I'm going to have the drone come out, but I'm actually going to defeat that because Hawkeye's response, in case you don't know, after a minion enters play, remove 1 arrow counter from Hawkeye, deal 2 damage to that minion. So, and since they only have 1 health right now, that'll knock that drone completely out of play. And then he's supposed to attack, so that's going to bring a drone out, but I'm going to use a counter from Hawkeye to knock that drone out. Okay. All right, and so he's supposed to attack, and he will, and I'll have Mockingbird take this for 2, just 2 damage. So good, our 2 advanced cards are already in the discard pile. That's good news, I need to remember that. But anyway, that'll knock her out of the game. But I do have Rapid Response over here. I will use that for Mockingbird. I'm going to use Rapid Response to bring her back into play. And when you do Rapid Response after ally is defeated, discard Rapid Response. Put that ally into play from your discard pile and deal 1 damage to it. So she'll come in with 2. And as you know, after Mockingbird enters play, stun an enemy. So she will stun Ultron. And because I used a preparation card with Black Widow, I'll deal that point of damage to Ultron, dropping him to 14. Okay, encounter card time, and it is Drone Factory. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engage with them as a drone minion, place 1 threat here for each drone minion in play. Okay, so I'll do that, but I'll use one of Hawkeye's arrows to take that drone right back out of play. Now, I don't think I have to... Okay, it comes in with 4, for sure. But when revealed says, each player puts the top card of their deck into play, face down, engage with them as a drone minion, place 1 threat here for each drone minion in play. But Hawkeye, and the drone minion comes in, and then after he comes in, Hawkeye can use his ability to take him out. So the question is, does this get another thing of threat? I don't really know. I think it actually does because that minion does technically come into play. I'll play that it does just to be safe. So it's going to have 5 threat on it. And we move over to Black Widow. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in Black Widow's Gauntlet using Avengers Mansion. I have another one of those in my deck if I need some card draw later. And then I'm going to use Black Widow's Gauntlet and Maria Hill to put in rapid response into the game and hold on to grappling hook. And then I'm going to use Black Widow to thwart for 2, Winter Soldier to thwart for 2, and Hawkeye to thwart for 1. So that's a total of 5 to get rid of this scheme here, this side scheme. And that will drop Hawkeye down to 1. It will defeat Winter Soldier. And of course, Black Widow's okay. And I think that's all I can do. So I'll ready up. Oh, no, I'm going to have Mockingbird. Well, the thing is, she has 2 health. There is a concussive blast. There are 2 concussive blasts in the encounter deck. And what those cards do, if they come out as boost, they deal 1 damage to every friendly character. If you're defending with an ally that only has 1 health left, and Concussive Blast comes out as a boost on an attack, it's going to take out your ally, and then your hero has to take the full brunt of the attack. And that's why it's good to try to leave allies with 2 health on them, in case that happens. But Black Widow does have 8 health still, so I'm going to go ahead and use Mockingbird to thwart for 1 on the main scheme. And then I'll ready up and draw to 5. Okay, start of the main phase. We have 1 thread on the main scheme. I'll have a drone come in, but I'll have Hawkeye shoot that drone and knock him out of the game. I'll get right back out of the game. And Ultron is supposed to attack, but he can't because he's stunned. And then the encounter card is Under Fire. When revealed, reveal the top card of the encounter deck. So I'll do that. And it is Invasive AI. I hate this card. I hate all the expert cards, but I love to play against experts. So you got to take him. You got to take the good with the bad. So anyway, Invasive AI comes into play with 3 threat. And the when revealed is each player discards the top 3 cards of their deck. So I'll go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3. And then it surges. I'll go ahead and discard that. This will surge into Repair Sequence. Ultron heals 2 damage for each drone minion engaged with you. If no damage was healed this way, this card gains surge. It wasn't healed because there are no drone minions, so it will surge into upgraded drones. Okay, so that means now all the drones that come into play will have 2 attack and 2 hit points. All right, back to Black Widow. All right, as much as I hate to do this, I think I'm going to spend the resources to get rid of upgrade drones because that can become a real problem, especially when he gets to stage 3, because they can make all the drones worth 3 hit points and 3 attack, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to spend this power leadership and make it an energy. I'm going to spend a grappling hook to make it for the mental, and then strength for the physical, to go ahead and get that out of the play, out of the game. And then I will use Black Widow's Gauntlet and Covert Ops to put Grappling Hook into play so that I can cancel a Treachery if I need to while I'm on Black Widow's side. And then I'm going to have Black Widow thwart for 2. And then have Hawkeye thwart for 1 to get rid of this side scheme, because I don't want to draw more encounter cards than I need to, because I think I'm going to have to draw an extra one anyway, because it looks like I'm running out of my deck. And this will knock Hawkeye out of the game, but I'm going to use Rapid Response to discard that and put him back in the game with 2 health. And then when he comes into play, he enters play with 4 arrow counters. So I'll put those on him. All right. And I'm going to leave him at 2 hit points for a while, at least for now, in case, again, Concussive Blast comes out. I don't want to lose Hawkeye with 4 arrow counters sitting on him. So, because I used a preparation card with Black Widow, I'll deal the damage to Ultron, dropping him down to 13. I'll just leave Mockingbird like that to defend for me, and we'll ready back up and draw back up to 5. I don't have enough, so I'm going to have to deal myself an encounter card. I'll shuffle and draw the last 2 cards. Okay, start of the main phase. One threat on the scheme. A drone is supposed to come into play, but I'm going to use Hawkeye to knock that drone out. So he'll come to the discard pile. And then that's for that part. And then another drone is supposed to come out because he's attacking. But I'm going to use Hawkeye's another arrow to knock that drone out of play. Okay. And then so he will attack for 2. I'll have Mockingbird take it this time. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4 damage. So that'll knock her out of the game. All right, so I have to deal myself an encounter card, the normal one. So I've got 2 to deal with here. The first one is Gang Up. This, well, it's supposed to be an attack, but I'm going to cancel that because I don't want him to attack. Because not only will he get attacked, but the drone that he could bring a drone in with Hawkeye, but I don't want him to attack. I'm going to use Grappling Hook to cancel that treachery and do the damage to him. That'll bring him down to 12. And I got to deal with whatever this is. And it is Caught Off Guard. Discard and upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded this way, this card gains Surge. Well, there's only one upgrade in play, and that is her Gauntlet. So I guess I'll discard that. All right, not cool because I was wanting to use that this turn. But, you know, that's part of the game. Okay, back to Black Widow. All right, for Black Widow, I'm going to put Rapid Response into play with Avengers Mansion and Falcon. And then I'm going to put Widow's Bite into play with Acrobatics. I'm going to have Black Widow go ahead and thwart for 2 to take care of the main scheme, bring it down to 2 like that. And I still have 8 health, but at some point I would like to flip over, get some cards. I don't think I need to do that yet, though. So I'm going to stop it there. When I keep Hawkeye at 2 health in case we have a concussive blast come out. So I'm going to go ahead and ready her up and draw back up to 5. Okay, 1 threat on the main scheme. A drone's supposed to come out, but a Hawkeye is going to knock out of play with his arrow. And then he's going to attack, which means a drone's supposed to come into play, but he'll knock it out with his last arrow. All right. And then I will have Hawkeye go ahead and defend. It's going to be attack of 2. Choose to either spend a fist resource or put the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone minion. Oh, man. I will spend Power of Leadership. I'm going to use that as a physical resource. So, because I don't want to put a drone into play. I just don't. So, Ultron is going to attack for 2 on, and so it'll knock Hawkeye out of the game. But I'm going to use Rapid Response to bring Hawkeye back into the game. Deal 2 damage to him. And when he enters play, he gets 4 arrow counters. All right. So hopefully he can stay in the game a bit longer and continue to take out drones for me. And of course, I used a preparation card, so I'll deal a damage to the villain, which will drop him to 11. All right, the encounter card's going to be Swarm Attack. Each drone minion engaged with your hero attacks. If no attacks are made this way, which there weren't, put the top card of your deck into play face down, engage with you as a drone minion. I'll do that, but I'm not going to use his arrows this time. I'm going to use Widow's Bite to hit that drone. Deal 2 damage to it. Knock it back out of play, and when I trigger preparation card, I'll deal damage to an enemy. I'll do it to Ultron, dropping it from 11 to 10. Okay, back to Black Widow. Okay, I'm going to make the call for Mockingbird. Bring her back into play. And I'll use Strength and Covert Ops to do that for 3 resources. And when she enters into play, she'll come in with 3 health. And she'll stun Ultron. Okay? And then I'll have her go ahead and thwart for 1 off the main scheme, just to keep it under control. Have Black Widow hit for 2. dropping him down to 8. And I'm going to leave Hawkeye there with 2 hit points because I don't want him to die to a concussive blast. Yes, I am worried about concussive blast. I've played quite a bit of games off camera with Black Widow leadership against Ultron, and I can't tell you how many times I lost because of concussive blast. It's gotten in my head. So I'm going to leave Ultron there with I'm going to leave Hawkeye with 2 hit points, ready up, and draw to 5. All right, start of the main phase. Put 1 thread on the scheme. And a drone's supposed to come out, or I'm going to choose to bring the drone out, but I'll have Hawkeye use an arrow to immediately kill it. And then Ultron's stunned, so he doesn't attack, which means a drone won't come into play. And then the encounter card is Android Efficiency. Each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engaged with them as a drone minion. So we'll do that, but after they enter play, we'll have Hawkeye knock him out. And so no drone will come in, and we'll go back to Black Widow. Okay, on Black Widow's turn, I want to put rapid response into play, and I will use lead from the front and target acquired, I guess, for that, because I don't want to get rid of safe house or make the call. So we'll use those 2. I will have Black Widow go ahead and attack for 2, dropping him down to 6. And I think I'll call that good for now. We'll ready and draw up to 5. Okay, start the main phase, put 1 thread on the scheme. A drone will come out. I'll choose to have a drone come out, but Hawkeye will knock him out once he comes into play. And then he will attack, which means a drone comes out, but I'll have Hawkeye knock that drone out with his last arrow. Okay, and I will have Hawkeye defend this. He's going to attack with 2, 3 damage. That's enough to knock Hawkeye out, but of course I'm going to use rapid response to bring Hawkeye back into play, deal 1 damage to him, and he'll get, when he enters play, he gets 4 arrow counters. Now it doesn't say when you play Hawkeye, it says when he enters play. So that's the reason why I keep using rapid response to put him back in, because I want to get those arrows back, and I believe you can do that. All right, so because I used a preparation card, I'll deal a damage to the villain, dropping him down, Ultron down to 5. Or I can deal a damage to an enemy. I'm going to do it Ultron, obviously. The encounter card is going to be Advanced Drone. So the Advanced Drone will come into play. I'll go ahead and use an arrow for that as well. So it'll knock 2 hit points off of him. Comes in then with 2. And I can't do any damage now to Ultron. Can't attack Ultron until I get rid of this drone. So back to Black Widow. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to put Grappling Hook in. And I'll use Endurance and Avengers Mansion for 2 to put that in. Going to hold on to these 2. I want to make the call because you're going to see why. I want to get Mockingbird back in, I think, or Hawkeye in at some point. So I want to hold on to make the call. And so I'll have Black Widow attack for 2 to knock this drone out. And when a drone is defeated, the engaged player puts the top card of their deck into play, engages them as a drone. But I'll have Hawkeye use his arrow to knock that drone out. Okay? And then I will go ahead and have Mockingbird attack for 1, I think, to drop him down to 4. I'll leave Hawkeye like that for now. And we will ready and draw up to 5. Okay, so main phase, put 1 thread on the main scheme. A drone, I'm going to choose to have a drone come out, but Hawkeye will knock that out with an arrow, as we've been doing the whole game, since he's been in anyway. He's supposed to attack, so a drone will come out, but I'll use the last arrow for that. And that will knock that drone out of play. I think I will go ahead and just have Hawkeye defend. So he's going to attack for 2. 3, Ultron heals 1 damage for each drone minion engaged with you, but there is no drone minion engaged. So he won't heal. He does do 2 damage. It's enough to knock out Hawkeye. Okay. And then the encounter card is Treachery. Ultron attacks you. Discard the top card of your deck for each damage dealt by the attack. I don't want that to happen, I think. So I will use Grappling Hook to cancel that Treachery and deal 1 damage to Ultron, dropping him to 3. Okay, back to Black Widow. Okay, he's got 3 hit points left, but I don't think I'm quite ready to push him to the next side, because if I do that and put him in stage 3, that means Ultron's Imperative comes out, and that side scheme brings in 2 drones. I would have enough damage to get rid of the drones because I can make the call for Hawkeye, and I'm about to do that in a second. But the problem is, in order to knock him over right now, I would have to use Black Widow and Mockingbird, and I would have no way to get the Ultron's Imperative side scheme out, and that makes you deal an extra encounter card. I'm low on cards. In fact, I'm going to be dealt an extra card anyway, so I don't think I'm ready to move him over yet. But I am ready to make the call for Hawkeye. So I am going to bring him back into the game using Target Acquired, Safe House, and Winter Soldier for 3. And he's going to come in the game this time with not only his 4 arrows, but with his full 3 health. So let me get his arrows and his health. Okay. And I'm going to have Black Widow thwart for 2 on the main scheme. I'm going to have Hawkeye thwart for 1, dropping him down to 2 on the main scheme, just to try to keep that under control. I take that back. I'm not going to thwart with Hawkeye. I'm going to attack Ultron with him to drop him to 2. Okay? And I'll ready and draw up to 5. Okay, so I did run out of cards. I'll have to deal myself an encounter card. Actually, I didn't run out of cards, but my deck ran out. I'll deal an encounter card, shuffle up, and then we'll get to the villain phase. Okay, start of the main phase. Main villain phase, put 1 threat on here. I'll choose to have a drone come into play, but Hawkeye is going to knock that out with 1 of his arrows. And then Ultron's supposed to attack, so a drone comes into play. I'll have Hawkeye knock 1 of those out with his arrows. Okay, and I think this time I'll have Mockingbird defend for 2. He'll attack for 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to knock her out of the game. And then I've got to deal myself. I have to deal with 2 encounter cards. One of them is Burn Notice. I'll flip and exhaust Natasha, I guess, to get rid of that. And then the other one is each drone minion engaged with your hero attacks. If no attacks are made this way, put the top card of your deck into play, face down, engage with you as a drone minion. So I'll put it in, use an arrow from Hawkeye to knock that out. Okay, so we survived it. I don't like that Natasha was. I don't like that she was exhausted, but that's otherwise it would have surged. I don't want that to happen. So back to Black Widow. Okay, Black Widow's turn. I'm going to put Maria Hill in using the power of leadership for the 2 resources because she is leadership. She'll come in with 2 health and she lets me draw a card. Good, it's a preparation. Okay. All right, I'd really like to put in this grappling hook because it would let me draw a card and it could stop a treachery. But I really want to make the call for Mockingbird, get her back into play. So I think I'm going to do that using energy and grappling hook for 2 and 3 resources. She'll come in with 3 damage or 3 health. She'll stun Ultron. Okay, and then I'm going to have her attack for 1 on Ultron and Hawkeye attack for 1 on Ultron, and that will knock him down to 0 and move him to a stage 3. And as I said, stage 3, when it's revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Ultron's Imperative, put it into play, reveal it and put it into play. So let me do that. Okay, there it is, Ultron's Imperative. When revealed, the first player, it comes in with 2 threat. The first player puts the top 2 cards of their deck into play, face down, engage with them as drone minions. Now the minions are going to be have 2 health and 2 attack, because the Ultron drone environment gives them 1 attack, 1 scheme, 1 in health. And Ultron stage 3 gives them +1 attack and +1 hit point. So they have 2 health, but Hawkeye's arrow deals 2 damage. So the first one that comes in, I'm going to use this last arrow to knock it out of the game. And then the second one, there's nothing I can do about that. It comes in. And then I'm going to use s.h.i.e.l.d. to thwart for 1. Or thwart for 2 on the main scheme to get it out of the game. On the side scheme to get Ultron's Imperative out of the game. Flip back to Black Widow. And I'll ready. And draw up to 5. And I will put his health back to 27. Because that's what he comes in with on side 3. Okay, start of the main phase. I put 1 threat on the main scheme. But this time I do not want... I can't do anything about... I would either have to put a drone in or put 2 threat. I don't want to bring a drone in because I can't get rid of it with Hawkeye's arrows. He doesn't have any. So I'm going to put 2 more threat in. That's going to bring it up to 5. Okay, so no drone comes into play. Ultron is stunned. He won't attack. This one will, but I'll have Black Widow take that for 2. And then the encounter card is Concussive Blast. And this is the reason why I hate this card. Because deal 1 damage to each friendly character. Black Widow takes 1. It's going to knock Hawkeye and s.h.i.e.l.d. out of the game. So I have no more. I've only got 1 blocker now. And she has 1 hit point left. Because she goes from 2 to 1. Alright. So I guess it could have been worse. I could have had... I don't know. Could have lost them all. But anyway, back to Black Widow. Okay, I think what I want to do is I want to put Wonder Man in play using Avengers Mansion and Attack Acrobatics. All right, and then I'm actually gonna thwart for 2 with Black Widow to drop the main scheme back down to 3. And then, Wonder Man comes into the game with 3 health. And I will go ahead and attack with him and discard Grappling Hook so that he can attack to get rid of this drone here. And then I think I'll just call that good. I'll ready and draw up to 5. Okay, so the start of the main phase, I'm going to put 1 threat on the main scheme, but I think I want to put 2 more on there because I don't want a drone to come in. So that's going to bring it up from 3 to 6. And then Ultron will attack. And I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and defend with Wonder Man. So 4, 5, 6. All right, that knocks him out of the game. And then the encounter card is, of course, the villain attacks you. So I'm going to defend with Black Widow because I have a purpose for Mockingbird. So he's going to attack for 4. Deal 1 damage to each character you control. Mockingbird's dead anyway. And so she'll drop to 4 with that. And then he attacks for 4, minus 2 is 2. Dropping Black Widow down to 2. So a rough last couple of turns for me. Hopefully I can survive it. We'll see. That is not what I wanted to happen. But it is her turn. Okay, so it's back to Black Widow. I think the best thing for me to do is get Falcon into play and try to get as much threat off of this scheme so that I can flip over and hopefully heal next time. And I'll have an ally to block for me as well. So I am going to put Falcon in using the 4 resources I have. All right, and so he'll come in with 3 hit points. And when he enters play, you look at the top 3 cards in the counter deck. For each treachery looked at this way, remove 1 threat. So we have 1 treachery, Shadow of the Past. That is not good. Actually, that will be a boost next time, so that is good. Then we have another treachery. That just puts a drone in play. And then another treachery. So 3 treacheries, and I see what's coming. The Android Efficiency is going to be an encounter card. And Exhaustion will be a boost, and Shadow of the Past will be a boost. So that is good news. And I'm going to need Mental Resource. No, I won't. It'll just come in, but that's good. So 3, each remove 3 threat from a scheme for each one that I looked at. So 3 threat. Then I'll have him thwart for 2 to remove 2 more. And that drops it down to 1. I will go ahead and flip to Natasha. Ready up and draw to 6. Okay, start of the main phase. We're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. I'm going to choose to put a drone out for this because he is going to be scheming. I don't want more threat than necessary. So he will scheme for 2, 3, 4. That's right, we remember that. So he'll put 4 threat on the scheme. That's going to bring it up to 6. And then this one will scheme, bringing it up to 7. Okay, and we know what the encounter card is. It's the one that brings a droid in. Each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engage with them as a drone minion. Okay. So, back to Natasha. All right, I want to put target acquired into play using, I think, lead from the front for this. And that will allow me to draw a card. All right, and I need to really take as much as I can off that scheme. I'm going to play Covert Ops using Strength and Endurance for that, I think, for 3. And that will remove 4 threat from a scheme and confuse the villain. Now, if you remember, this next card here is going to be the one that makes me exhaust my hero and it surges. I don't want it to surge because I don't know what's coming next, but I think this may be a good opportunity for me to try to stay in Natasha to try to get more cards. I'm not sure that's what I'm going to do, though. I definitely want to hold on to Dance of Death because eventually I want to start making a push to get rid of him. I'm going to use Falcon to attack for 2 to remove one of these drones. I definitely going to need to heal, so that'll heal her back up to 5 hit points. And he's not going to scheme. So, and there's the 2 advances are already gone. One of the Rage of Ultrons is already gone. So I don't think this is going to advance to stage 3. So I will stay, I think, as Natasha one more time to try to get some more cards out. All right, draw up to 6. Okay, start of the main phase. We're going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. And then I can decide to put a drone into play or 2 threat. And I think I will play it safe and put a drone in for now. Because I don't want, just in case the next card under this is something that lets him scheme. Well, let's see. These 2 are going to scheme if I do that. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to put a drone in instead of 2 threat on the scheme. And then he won't scheme because he's confused. They will scheme, so it's going to bring it back up to 6, from 4 to 6. All right, the encounter card, we know what it is. It's Exhaustion. So exhaust your identity card and surge. Please don't surge into something that lets him scheme. And of course, it's Rage of Ultron. It's exactly what I thought was going to happen Well, there's 6 threat on the scheme. So I cannot believe this, but he schemes for 2. Just for 2. No boost cards. That's good news. So it's going to go up to 8. And so he schemed for 2, and you discard the top card of your deck for each threat placed this way. All right. Well, he's about to run out of his deck, but I think things may start going in my favor. I think things are going to come back because I have to make the calls, and you better believe I'm using one of them to get Mockingbird back into play so that we can stun Ultron, because I don't want him attacking anymore. But let me think about exactly what I want to do here. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is put Widow's Bite into play with, I guess, Synth Suit. And that's going to let me draw a card. All right. And then I will make the call for Mockingbird. Okay. And I'm going to use Genius for 2 and Target Acquired for 3 to pay for that. And she'll come into play with 3 hit points. And stun Ultron. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and use Falcon to hit one of these drones for 2 damage to knock one of them out. And it will knock him out of the game. And then I'm going to have Mockingbird actually just thwart for 1. Drop it back to 7. Okay. And no, I'm not. Sorry about that. It's going to be at 8. I'm going to have Mockingbird attack this drone and deal 1 damage to that. Okay? So, I'll draw back up to 5. Oh, I'm going to flip to Black Widow. Ready. Draw back up to 5. So I have to deal myself an encounter card, which means an acceleration token will come on. Okay, so I got my full hand of 5 like I'm supposed to. Start of the main phase, supposed to put 2 threat now on the main scheme, and that's going to bring it up to 10. Now, the force response says after placing threat here. Well, the problem is when you put the 2 threat on, it's going to advance. So I'm pretty sure I don't have to make a decision here. Even if I did, I would say I'm putting 2 threat on this. So no minion comes out because of this stage. But we will advance to stage 3. And stage 3A says to put, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down. But I'm going to use Widow's Bite to deal 2 damage to that minion, which will kill it. And that's the reason why I wanted to have Mockingbird attack this one, because I thought I was going to have to put a drone into play because of stage 2B. And so I was going to use Widow's Bite to take out the drone that came in with that, and then have Black Widow's ability knock out this drone. But I forgot there was only 1 card left in his deck, and she was going to have to draw this card because her deck ran out. I just messed that up, but you know, that happened. Anyway, so this drone's supposed to come in, Widow's Bite knocks it out, and I get a deal of damage. I'll deal it here to knock that one out. Okay, so good enough. And this will go ahead and advance to stage 3B, and I only have a couple of turns now to win, and he's got full 27 health. I'm going to have to really rush the best I can. We'll see what happens. He's supposed to attack. He's stunned. Okay, so I have to deal another encounter card, and it is Master Plan. Place 4 threat on a side scheme, but I got to discard cards until I get a side scheme. All right, let's do that. Please don't be one that gives an acceleration token. And it is, of course. It is Drone Factory. When revealed, each player puts the top card of their deck into play face down, engaging them as a minion. And So it's going to come in with 5 threat. And now it's got an acceleration token of its own. I cannot believe this. I have won this game before against Ultron, doing what I did with Mockingbird and Hawkeye and earlier in the game, and it doesn't look good this time. But I also wasn't able to do as much damage on the front end as I like. But anyway, let's see what this one is. And it's advanced. The game's probably over right here anyway, because he's going to scheme for 2, 3. So he puts 3 threat on the scheme. And unless I can do 27 points of damage on my turn, I'm going to lose, because the start of the main phase will put 3 threat on there, and there's nothing I can do about taking this one off. But I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to have Black Widow attack for 2 to knock out this drone. I'm going to do Dance of Death using 3 resources to deal him 6 damage, because if I'm going to lose, I'm going to hit him as hard in the face as I can. So he's going to go down to 21. I'm going to have Mockingbird attack for 1 to drop him down to 20. And then I'll ready, draw up to 5. And at the start of the main phase, you put 3 threat on the scheme, and that's going to be enough to push it over. Well, that's the game. Black Widow leadership loses to Ultron Expert, and that is very disappointing and discouraging, because off camera, I'm tired. I mean, I don't mind losing games on camera. I lose a lot of games on Marvel Champions on camera, but I'm tired of only beating Rhino, Risky Business, and the Wrecking Crew on camera. I've beaten every single villain in the game, multiple different ways, and so I practiced against Ultron with Black Widow leadership, lost a bunch of games off camera with him, finally figured out a formula that I thought worked, which is what I was doing with Hawkeye and Mockingbird. Won 2 games in a row off camera, so I said, okay, I feel good. Come in here, and what happens? I lose. But, you know, that's what happens. I do still think it's a good strategy, what I use. It's just, in some of my other games, Dance of Death was in my hand later in the first half on stage 2, and I was able to get him to stage 3 faster than I was this time. It was real slow getting him there this time, and just things went against me. I mean, I knew, you know, the things that came out when I knew they were going to come out to hurt me, they did. It did hurt me. I lost the game, but, you know, it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough, though. At least you got to see how Black Widow leadership works, and you got to see how how rapid response works well with Hawkeye and Mockingbird. So maybe you can employ that strategy and have some success with it. But if you did enjoy this game, please consider to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, I've got another Marvel Champions video going to be coming out soon. So if you're interested in that, hit the notification bell so you know when that's coming out. And then I'm going to be doing some playthroughs of games that I've had on my shelf for a couple of months. I want to get them in to play that are not Marvel Champions. I'd like to show them off. So if you're interested in those games, if you're interested in the Marvel Champions video I got coming up soon, make sure you hit the notification bell so that you'll know when they're coming. But again, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll save you a seat at the table.